Hi, my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we have Arkansas Republican Senate candidate Matt McKee joining us. He is running for District 6, which is a newly drawn district. Hi, Matt. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, Jenny. Thank you so much for having me and looking forward to it.
Well, first, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. You are a JP there in Garland County. You served as Republican Party chair there for 7 years as well. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to get into this race.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I've been a JP for 12 years. I got elected. I ran for office after Barack Hussein Obama got elected. And so many of us were just looking for what we could do to save our country, to keep the country the way we were raised and the way we want our kids and our grandkids to be able to enjoy growing up and being prosperous in this country. And so I ran for JP, and I know it's not a big thing, but as Lou Holtz always said, you just do the next right thing.
That's
and so I've served as a JP for 12 years. I've been chairman of the Finance Committee in Garland County for the last 6 years. And it's been a pleasure to serve, and I love the people we work with, and I think we've been able to do a lot of good things. The thing with government is there's always somebody wanting to expand government. And so on the Quorum Court in Garland County, we've been able to make sure that government is working as efficiently as possible and keep those dogs at bay when they want to come in and expand government. That's what we've done, is we've stopped that expansion and tried to keep it to where it's not invasive in the people's lives. And the reason I'm running for Senate is because on the Quorum Court, like I said, we've been able to do some good things, but we don't have a voice when it comes to those issues that are so important today, whether it's an individual's right to life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness, and all those things that are coming down. So I'm excited about the campaign. I live in Piercy, Arkansas. I'm married to my wife, Nikki. We have 4 daughters. And we love living here, and we just want to see Arkansas thrive and prosper. And the individual that I'm running against has a record that's not conservative, and we can do so much better.
Yeah, so we'll talk about his record in a second, but you've mentioned you've been involved in politics at the local level for quite some time there. When you announced that you were running for Senate, what did people say? Were they like, well, we already have someone representing this area. He's a Republican, he's a conservative. Or were they excited about the choice and the potential for change?
I think people are always excited to have a choice. The biggest thing that we hear is, I don't know who my state senator is. And unfortunately, we hear that all too often.
Wow.
And so what we really need is people to know, because they've met, they've seen, they've visited with, they have clear communication. So people feel like they have no voice. But if they know their representatives, if they have a personal relationship with them, I think it provides maybe not inner peace, but it allows them to know that they at least have a voice and a say in what happens in their government and in who's representing them. So that's the biggest thing we hear, is that people just don't know who's representing them in this Senate district.
As you are informing people about your race, who your opponent is, are you also sharing a way to contrast your beliefs, your principles compared to your opponents, and how is that going?
Absolutely. So my belief is that governments are instituted among men to protect their rights. And it is the job of the legislature, of all of our elected officials, to ensure that our rights, as defined in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, are protected. And in contrast to that, my opponent was at a speaking engagement last week, and he said that the most important thing that he does is clearing red tape that the legislature has created to make individuals' lives easier. Well, that's backwards. That's not the way it should be. It should be the other way around. And whether it's tax increases that he's voted for, or increasing regulations on everything from telemedicine to ride sharing apps at airports, whether it's voting for hate crimes legislation, or voting or not voting to ban sanctuary cities in Arkansas, there's not a tax increase or regulatory increase that he doesn't like. And unfortunately, I don't know who he gets his information from, but we can do so much better in Arkansas. There's so many ways in which we can improve the lives of the people that live here, that that we can encourage the climate that is best for business and innovation. And that comes a lot from our education system. And there's so many things that we can do there to make sure that parents have the ability to choose what's best for their kids and make those choices so that moving forward, their kids have that ability to thrive and prosper and stay here in Arkansas, the state that we love so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking about your opponent's record, some of the things that I think that really don't align with the Republican Party platform. You were talking about education. He failed to vote on a bill for school choice. That was Senate Bill 746. And then you mentioned the tax increases. Here at Conduit, we say all of the time, if you don't have economic freedom, if you are not holding on to your money and the government has it and they continue to expand and grow, you're not free. And so I think sometimes we see these Republicans, they are hitting the social issues hard, right? That is low hanging fruit. That's what people like to talk about. But when you see the economic issues and you see someone like your opponent, vote for internet sales tax, vote for the gas increase, vote for tire fees, increased cell phone fees, water bill fees, state park usage, it is hard to reconcile how you can say that you align with the party platform. You want to limit the role of government when you see votes like this.
Well, Jenny, all those things hit every individual in some small way, and they all add up. And with the Biden-Harris inflation that's going on, it compounds and it compounds, and we've got to put ourselves in the state of Arkansas in a position that we're not dependent, and we don't react in the same way to the federal guidelines and restrictions and all those things, because we put ourselves in a situation with our tax and regulatory system and with the business climate where the rest of the country doesn't affect us when we have recessions, when we have all those things going on, because our people are free to do what they feel is best with their resources, and they keep the bread that they've earned.
Also, in the past general session, the legislature, the issue of COVID, vaccine mandates, natural immunity, mask mandates, everyone was thinking and talking about that because that affected them personally. That threatened their livelihood with these big corporations that were coming down with these mandates. Your opponent did not vote for a Senate bill, 739. It was proposed by Senator Hammer, protecting natural immunity for those employees. Talk to us about that. What is your thought on that? What would you have done differently had you been in office?
Well, I think those employees obviously needed to be protected, and that was the job of the legislature. As a conservative, I've always been in favor of business being able to handle their affairs in the way that they saw best. But what we see today is woke corporations that are deciding they need to implement social policy, and they need to penalize individuals who don't bow down to the woke culture. And along with the vaccine mandates, what we saw was a vaccine that was not fully approved by the FDA, that our federal government was saying, you've got to take this. And then companies got involved, started saying, you've got to take this or you're going to lose your job. Our legislature tried to protect those people, not by telling companies they couldn't require a vaccine, but by telling companies, if you require the vaccine, you also have to accept these other examples or proofs of immunity. And my opponent, he voted against it 3 times. And it's baffling that we wouldn't give individuals the right to choose what's best for their own health and their family's security. And so we saw so many people lose their jobs, lose their livelihoods, because my opponent failed to do what was right. And we can do better. He also failed to vote on a bill to prohibit vaccine passports in Arkansas.
Right. Yeah.
And one of the issues that we see is he votes present a lot. This district doesn't have a voice in Little Rock.
Right.
And I want to be that voice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think recently we are seeing the state chamber, these big corporations come in and really be influential in a way that they haven't been before, where, it's one thing for the Democrats, that sort of thing, to align with that ideology, but it's a completely different thing when you have conservatives in office, supermajority, they have an R by their name, and they are aligning with those woke corporations, these big businesses, and even the state chamber, who was at the Capitol at every committee hearing, pushing vaccine mandates for private businesses. What would you say about any of our legislators, or just the fact that maybe some have become a bit more beholden to these big corporations? How do we rectify that?
Well, I think it's something we've all got to be careful about. Whoever is influencing us, whether it's the corporations or the lobbyists or the chamber or any of those things, the number one thing is what's best for the people of Arkansas. And I always come down on the side of individual liberty and freedom. And I believe the individuals in my district and in the rest of the state are capable of making those decisions for themselves. And so whenever the legislature gets in a position where they say, no, we're going to make that decision for you, obviously we need to go the other direction. So we always just have to be careful of who we're listening to, making sure that we're getting the best information we can, making sure we're getting all the information, and then we make the best decision we can. I know that so many times in the legislature, there's so much going on that it's difficult to get all the information, and you have to focus on individuals and entities that you trust. And sometimes good decisions are made and sometimes bad decisions are made, but we've just all got to be on guard that we're getting the best information that we can.
We are excited about your campaign. Look forward to watching over the coming weeks how this turns out. How can people there in your district get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Well, we are so excited and we've enjoyed meeting all the people in District 6. I've represented a large part of District 6 for the past 12 years, but we're meeting so many other individuals and there's a lot of excitement for the campaign. If you're interested in volunteering or helping out, you can go to mattmckeeforarkansas.com. We would love for you to be involved, for you to be part of the movement that I believe is freedom. And freedom is not just an idea, it's something that we all enjoy and it makes our lives better. And so I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and visit with you. We're out knocking on doors, we're putting up our signs, we're getting ready to send out mailers, we're having fun, but we're facing an incumbent. And so we need your help to make it happen.
Well, wonderful talking to you. Great insight, and we hope that you come on Conduit again soon.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It was a pleasure visiting with you.